Welcome. Can everyone hear and see us okay? If you're out there listening, type yes in the chat so we know if you can hear and see us. We'll give everyone a second.
Let us know if you can hear us. And tell us if you can see these tiny hands. We'll do anything to engage the kiddos.
Cute, creepy, we're not sure, but we love them. So everyone, we're so happy to be here, and we're here to coach you to engage kiddos on teletherapy with confidence and to know what to do with online sessions. We hear you. You are burned out. We know that you feel inadequate in sessions when they end early or when the kiddos don't engage. And we hear from you guys that it's like your skills, all those skills you had in your playroom, they don't feel like they translate online. Our student Allie felt that way in the beginning too, and she started to use our interventions. And here's what she said. It's so sweet. When the pandemic hit, I thought my private practice was going to crash within a few weeks. After doing 2 full sessions of Ashley and Maria's program, my online private practice is full to the max. And each week, listen to this, y'all. She said, each week I'm getting multiple emails from new families looking for therapy. I'm so thankful for the tools, boost of confidence, genuine kindness, thank you, and support I have received from the program. I truly believe I would not have found such success in my online practice without it. We're grateful to you too, Allie. We're really happy to be back with this community and with our colleagues, Dan and Bianca. Thank you guys so much for having us back here. We had a blast coaching you on Monday on the Facebook Live, and if you missed it, you can find it in the resources section of this group. Plus, you'll also find our tried and true glitter recipe and special script explanation for kiddos. So many of you have already signed up for the free training on December 11th, but so many keep messaging us that they're having trouble finding the link. So Maria's going to drop the link in the chat so you can sign up now. Guys, make sure if you're interested that you sign up. The space is limited. If you want to learn more tools for engaging kids on telehealth, let us know by putting the word tools in the chat. You guys want to learn more tools? We know you do. We really can't wait to see you at the training. And again, it's Friday, December 11th at 10 a.m. PST. Now that's California time. If you're on the East Coast of America, that's 1 p.m. for you guys. Space is limited. We really can't say this enough. So please sign up if you're interested. We really have heard from so many of you wanting coaching to engage your kiddos through the screen, and that is exactly what we are here to talk about.
So we'd love to know who's here with us. Where are you tuning in from right now? If you can just drop it in the chat, we'd love to see. You could put your city, your state, your country. That's one thing that's incredible about Facebook is that we can all connect from around the world. And we want to make sure that you guys got that glitter jar recipe and script. So that's posted in the group. Type glitter if you still want the glitter jar recipe that we talked about on Monday. And if you missed it and you want to know what it's about, you can watch the video on Monday in the Facebook group.
That's right. We want to have a glitter jar party, y'all. So get that recipe, follow it along, and post your glitter jars when you've got them to the comments of one of these videos. We love seeing them being used and being made. The glitter jar is a wonderful, simple emotional regulation tool for kids and adults alike. It's good for us too. Have one on your desk. I want to share with you one of our coaching therapist students, a story that she came to us with. She had a problem. The parents of her client were concerned she didn't know what she was doing. She couldn't get the kiddo engaged, and he kept wanting to end the sessions after 10 minutes, y'all. She got her hands on our complete child mind body teletherapy formula. Now that's a step-by-step method that'll teach you how to engage the kiddos from start to finish. She applied it to our can't sit still interventions for those kiddos that have trouble sitting still. This intervention is called Where is Your Feet? It's so cute, y'all, and I want to teach it to you now. It's really simple. So you would start with asking the question, where are your feet? So where are your feet? No, seriously, look, where are your feet? If I look down right now, my feet are on a blue cushion that's on top of a pink rug that's in my living room, in my home, in Los Angeles. Feels better already. She got the whole family doing this intervention, and she moved from seeing the child from 10 minutes or not at all to seeing him for 45 minutes, and he doesn't want to get off the screen. Now at home, what we have the family do, and this is so fun for the family, is that they can do it together as an activity. They all go into one space in the house. One person will run into another room and scream, "Where are my feet?" And everybody has to come in the room and everybody looks at their feet. And they can do that from room to room to room. Little mindfulness practices. So come on December 11th to learn more about the tools that we can use for our kiddos, for our families, and for ourselves. And so after that therapist that I just mentioned, she used that intervention with our Can't Sit Still teleinterventions to engage the hyperactive child. And the combination of the two, the child was so engaged. Exactly what we want. Type yes if you feel like this would be a helpful intervention for one of your kiddos or one of your families. And y'all, don't forget that it's a great tool for us too. Did you feel it? I felt the calming effects come over immediately.
You're all saying you don't have interventions that seem to work online. And what worked in the office doesn't work in the same way now. How many of you are used to taking the child's lead in session? Now, the biggest myth about teletherapy is that it doesn't work with children. And that's only true if you don't know how to do it. But when you have the right tools and interventions, you can engage a child from start to finish. So one of the biggest asks that comes from your community is keeping kids engaged for the session. And because it's through a screen, it's different. So our step-by-step method that we know works is super easy to implement once you have it. And that key is really harnessing the mind-body connection. And we teach you how to do that.
We hear you saying you feel defeated after sessions or you feel inadequate. And we hate hearing those words, by the way. So many of you have said things like this. Well, that's exactly the feedback that we were getting from our therapist students before they started working with us, because we have so many teleinterventions for you guys, and we'll be teaching them in our big free training next Friday, December 11th. We can't say it enough. Make sure you sign up. It's limited space and it's not going to be recorded. So make sure you register. We'll drop another link in the chat. We know that you find it hard to engage your clients.
So today we're going to give you some helpful tools and tips too. And the good news is you can have a thriving practice and feel confident doing telehealth. And people love the online technology. Kids love it, right? But you have to do it in that way that engages them. So before we jump in, we'd love to get a sense of who's here. Where do you all work? Agency, private practice? Are you counselors, school-based? Please tell us in the chat.
Yeah. And while you're putting that in the chat, I'm going to introduce us. I'm Ashley. Maria and I are psychotherapists, speakers, parent coaches, and mindfulness educators. Our coaching company is called Accessing the Digital Child. We teach internationally at conferences and schools on how to engage kiddos confidently through the screen. With private practices in Los Angeles, California, and strong backgrounds in research, we coach therapists and parents to effectively navigate the new paradigm of 2020 and beyond. We deliver important information to help therapists and families hone those ever important emotional regulation and mindfulness superpowers. We've coached over 1,000 therapists just this year to confidently engage children both on and off the screen with our unique mind-body methodology called the Complete Child Mind-Body Teletherapy Formula.
Yes, we host interactive and dynamic online workshops and trainings, and we coach therapists to use those mind-body interventions online that are easy to implement. So here's the thing about telehealth. We mentioned this in our training on Monday, and if you haven't seen it already, be sure to watch it. This part really bears repeating, which is that in October of 2020, the New Child Mind Institute reported that 80% of parents say telehealth is more convenient than in-person appointments. And 78% say they plan to continue telehealth sessions going forward, even after this pandemic ends. I want to repeat this again. 78% say they plan to continue telehealth sessions going forward after the pandemic ends. So what we know then is that we better be well trained in teletherapy because it's here to stay. And like we said on Monday, it's not about just tolerating teletherapy. It's about really learning to master it and then loving it, right? I know it seems really far off right now, but it's possible. And we're going to go over some basics today because in order to build a strong building, we have to start with a strong foundation. So we get asked these questions all the time. What are the basic things that you should have to engage kids confidently doing teletherapy? And one of the things we love to make life easier working remotely is to have a therapy basket. So the therapy basket makes it easy to set up and break down. It's any sort of container that you have in your house. It doesn't have to be a basket. And that has to have all of the things that you need for session. So that would be easily accessible and movable for those of you that work in a space that might also be a space for your family later in the day. In the therapy basket, it makes it easy to grab what you need in session. And most importantly, it gives you the calm and confidence to know that everything is right there at your fingertips when you need it, no matter what happens in session.
Yeah, the therapy basket gives you that therapist counselor superpower to be resilient and flexible in your sessions and model that to your clients. In your therapy basket, you might want to think about having all the things you want to be able to easily grab in your sessions. It's kind of like your toy closet or your therapy office. So in it might be your stuffies, your puppets, your glitter jar, get that recipe, anything that you like to draw with, flashcards or games that you use on the screen, and any of your calming tools. We love to throw in a Hoberman Ball. Do you guys know the Hoberman Balls? This is a great way to practice breathing with the kids. We can show them how to breathe, that when we breathe in, our lungs fill up with air. And then when we breathe out, our lungs deflate. And you don't even have to have this ball. You can just do it with your hands. Do it with me right now. Let's take a ball breath. Pretty easy. Later today, we'll show you a way to get your kids engaged with doing mindfulness exercises on the screen. Write in the chat right now, one thing that's always easily accessible for you with your kids.
And you'll notice when you saw Ashley demonstrating the Hoberman Ball or using her hands, she was careful to make sure that her hands are in the frame, right? And that's one thing that we teach is about visibility. You want to make sure that the kids can see everything that you're doing so that it's super engaging. I'm not sure they were able to see that, Ashley. Go ahead and do that again.
Oh, okay. I'll do it again. Just like that. Okay. In our programs, not only do we have interventions for you to use in sessions, but we have cheat sheets like this where we give you the rundown of all the things that we know are helpful during teletherapy with kids. Our therapists also have on hand in their therapy baskets our special flashcards, which are part of our complete mind-body teletherapy formula. That's the methodology. That's the step-by-step method to engage kiddos from start to finish. And they're trained to know when to use the flashcards, when to use the virtual therapy room, how to use the body maps, and to map feelings with the kiddos right on the screen. There's so much to do in session for mind-body learning, y'all. Once you have your hands on our interventions, you'll never wonder again what to do in session. It'll all be at your fingertips and it's written out for you. The ideas, the interventions, the tips, the tools, it's all right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and these are activities that go with the mind-body connection. The thing about our virtual therapy rooms is that none of them link to the outside websites. So you never have to worry about ending up on a web page or seeing an advertisement that you don't want to see with a client. And what you'll see about our methods is that none of our interventions have to involve outside videos or have anything fancy like screen sharing. All you need is just you and the child seeing each other on screen to have awesome, successful teletherapy sessions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Maria and I were chatting with one of our students the other day who was reminiscing about how she felt when the pandemic hit and we were all sent home. She said that she was more than happy to let us share her story. Our students are really cool that way. What she said was, every day in the beginning of the pandemic, I had a child run away or turn the computer off or just not participate. I felt like a total failure. And worst of all, God, y'all, this is our worst nightmare. And worst of all, I had caretakers sitting in session seeing this happen. Whoa. She said one day a mom asked me if I was going to be able to engage her kiddo and get any therapy done. She said, I thought I would die right there on the spot. How many of you have had these experiences, kids running away from the screen and or things like that happening with caretakers in the room? Who would have ever thought we would have been talking about this? The student I mentioned, Malika, she was so kind and said our program really helped her, but how it helped her is what we really loved. She said, when I found Ashley and Maria, they gave me the special sauce for engagement. I love that. Special sauce for engagement and so many tools. I just ate up the trainings and everything started to change. This is so cool. The kids were engaged and I felt confident that even if they ran away, it wasn't my fault because I was using the tools. And she said, bonus, I learned how to incorporate movement into the session. My sessions are wonderful now. I never thought I could have such productive, do you love that? Such productive psychotherapy sessions on the screen. So cool that she's not only engaging her kiddos, but she's using movement as a major component of their work together. Malika told us her favorite package of interventions was the crucial moments intervention, so that you know what to do in a session when the kiddo leaves the screen, mutes the video, ends the session early, no shows. And our can't sit still interventions to engage the hyperactive child. She doesn't have any more runaway kiddos in her practice.
We're so proud of her. Malika, if you're watching, we're very proud of you. One thing you'll want to have too is some kind of stuffed animals to meet your child's stuffies, just going back to the therapy basket concept. And as you're collecting things for your practice online, right? So we recommend that you have puppets and stuffed animals in your basket to meet your child's stuffies, so they can build relationships with one another through the screen and talk about how, oh, the stuffies miss going to school too. The stuffies don't like wearing masks. I'll show you. I have a puppet right here that has a mask. Right? So this offers a really good opportunity to have conversations. Hi, guys. How's it going? Hey, Ashley.
Hi.
Right. So it can be useful to have masks on your stuffed animals as it opens up discussion around children's feelings about quarantine. And they have so many feelings about it. We all do. Now, another great mindfulness tool is that if you have a little beanie baby or a smaller stuffed animal, you can have the kiddo give the stuffy a ride on their own belly. So these are called belly breaths. They can set the stuffed animal on their belly right in session and breathe in, and you can watch the animal take a ride up and breathe out and watch it ride down. And then when you take an intervention like that and apply our mind-body formula to it, this activity goes from taking just a few minutes to stretching across the whole session. The inquiry questions from the methodology are so important for drawing connections and keeping the children engaged.
Yeah, and there's so many creative ways to talk about emotions. One way we know kiddos begin to understand emotions is by assigning them a color. We love to make it fun by using visuals. How cute are these? Red is when we feel angry. And just yesterday, purple gnome expressed frustration at not being able to see his friends. I picked gnomes because they're silly and their hair is a variety of colors, but you don't have to have them. It's just an extra visual. When you have our tools and our interventions, these just become an add-on. On December 11th, just to remind you again, we're having our free training where we're going to show you in detail how to be equipped for teletherapy sessions. Okay, we're going to switch gears for a minute and talk about us. We are not working in our offices where we're used to. We're sitting in different positions and many of us are used to. Ouch, my back. We've heard from so many of you that you're doing therapy from corners in bedrooms, parts of your living room, even the bathroom. And we're sitting in these new spaces perhaps much longer than we're ever used to sitting, especially as therapists, as kiddo therapists. So rather than the session, and we know that if our body doesn't feel good, then guess what happens? We focus on that rather than the session and the child that's in front of us. And while we may not have a lot of options for office space, we want to make sure that what we have is a comfortable place to sit. I have a meditation pillow under my feet to prop my legs up to hip level. For me, that supports my back. I also have one of these little rollers that I put behind my back, and you can use it to keep it supported. It's really helpful. I have a table that raises up and goes down, and it also swings out just like this. So it makes it really easy for me when I want to get up and move with the kids.
Just like in our offices, we need a comfortable space to sit that feels good to our body. And that really helps us to be present. And so it's very important as professionals who are giving our care, attention, and energy that we give from a place of comfort. So I love this analogy, which is that massage therapists, they know not to massage people in a position that hurts their own backs. Because think of it this way, if we're compromised ourselves in our own comfort, eventually we're going to get burnt out, exhausted, resentful, overwhelmed. Sound familiar to our people pleasers out there? When we're comfortable, literally physically comfortable, right? Then we're able to connect with the child through the screen more by mirroring them, reflecting them, moving easily with them. And we also know from the research on mindfulness that in a calmer, more comfortable state, we get more access to creativity, playfulness, resourcefulness. So the more you set up yourself for success here, the better able you will be to figure out what to do in session and when. And being able to be calm in and of itself is a confidence booster.
For sure. We work with our therapists to set up incredible teletherapy nooks, even if they're sitting on the floor in the laundry room. That's true. Y'all, they get so excited about their teletherapy spaces when they're set up, their space to work best for them. And they show up to class and show everybody. So if you're excited about this, it may look like putting your favorite picture on the wall across from you or setting up your space in your home to look like a kid-friendly office. So once our therapists are set with this, they come with their therapy baskets and their packet of interventions. Really, y'all, it's all the tips and tools you need to have the joy and the play that you so love in your work, because everything's right there. It's like walking into your own playroom where everything is right at your fingertips. We have your interventions for worries, for terminations, for sessions, emotional regulation galore, self-esteem, anger, and so many ways to teach mind-body connection without making kiddos feel like, therapy is so boring. We're so excited that so many of you are coming on Friday, December 11th, where we're going to go into even more detail. If you haven't signed up, I can't say it enough. Space is limited. You're going to want to get on there.
We have an incredible intervention in our course called My Ears and Eyes Are Powerful Tools. Now, this involves all kinds of exploration into different animals that have different sized eyes and ears. It's so much fun. Now, one small piece of that intervention that we can teach you today is how to invent animal breaths right with your child clients in session to get buy-in for a mindful practice without calling it mindfulness. We all know those clients who say no thanks anytime we suggest that they take a breath when they're angry. And sometimes it's not that polite, it's just plain no.
We've all heard that. No, I'm not going to breathe. So let's talk about those animal breaths. Most every kid loves animals, and we use animals so often in our work. Kids might bring animal stuffies to session. They might have some animal at home, or you might have an animal on your side of the screen that they're curious about. Animals are an easy doorway to helping kiddos talk about themselves and express themselves. One way we like to use animals in our complete mind-body teletherapy formula is to make up animal breaths to use for emotional regulation. And animal breaths are part of a longer intervention, that one that Maria mentioned called My Ears and Eyes Are Powerful Tools. So one we use a lot in my office is Otis Breath. If you've ever trained with me, y'all know who Otis is. If you haven't, that's my therapy dog. And the kids see him on screen a lot. Now, what you have to know about Otis is that his tongue hangs out of his mouth 24/7. So when we do an Otis breath around here, this is what it would look like. Do it with me, y'all. You breathe in, and then as you breathe out, your tongue falls out like Otis. I'll do it now. Do it with me. Let's do one more. Get silly with it. Make up all kinds of breaths with your kiddos. They'll love it, and they'll use it as a tool if it's fun. Plus, that felt good. Did y'all feel that? It's amazing. Three breaths will do. In our course, you have access to the scripts and actually see us do role plays for how to incorporate this with a kiddo. This is an excellent method, but you have to figure out which animals work for each client. Right now, put in the chat one animal you think might be good for an animal breath for your clients. Go ahead and put it in the chat. You can do Otis breath. That's completely fine. There are many and many therapists who do Otis breath. So the truth is, we don't know necessarily what animal breath a child will like on any given day. They might like one day and a different one the next day, and that's okay. That's why we want to try lots of them out. So maybe right now, just think in your head, what are 3 that you could try this week with your kiddos? If someone would like buzzing, like a buzzing bee, that's pretty easy. Breathe in. It's a tongue twister, but it's pretty easy. Breathe in and buzz out. Let's do it together. And if you've
That's
got
a fun one.
It's a good one, isn't it? I like Maria put up her little wings too. We both got our wings up. And if you've got some butterfly another tongue twister. And if you've got some butterfly fans, then as we breathe in, our wings go up, and as we breathe out, our wings go back down. Let's do it together. Breathe in and flutter your wings up. Now breathe out and let them go back down. You never know what you're going to get. I asked a kiddo what their favorite animal was, and they said a termite. Can you imagine how we came up with a termite breath? Well, we do it. Who knew respect for termites and their building abilities was out there, but alas, we do a termite breath. I've got this kiddo breathing.
You really want to have fun with this, right? And the key here is finding windows to introduce it as a playful concept, not meditation homework. So our therapists are great at this, and we actually have them practice in class to get their creativity flowing. So these sorts of tools really give you the opportunity to teach emotional regulation on screen. And you'll be amazed at how you can get breaths done with something fun. It's also a great way to start session with your clients. Come to our training on December 11th, and we'll introduce our complete child mind body teletherapy formula, which teaches you to fill the session time and engage your clients in a meaningful way that promotes emotional learning and processing. Now, another thing that you'll really want to master during this time period is how to talk about the impact of COVID-19 and quarantine on children and families. Parents look to us for psychoeducation and containment. Our therapists like to actually send the information that we give them in our course directly to parents because it's useful for everyone right now. For example, understanding how children's responses to the current time coming up is really important. So while all children express emotions differently, what you might expect right now and what to help identify, normalize, and make sense of with parents is what we're really seeing, which is some excessive worry, sadness, or even crying in children. For some, it's increased irritation or anger, or even a return to behaviors from prior developmental stages, right? Like wetting the bed, asking for a pacifier for those younger children, which we understand as regressive behaviors, and changes in eating habits. For some, decreased level of concentration and attention, which is especially hard right now with distance learning. And in a lot of kids, there have been developments of new fears, there are new physical pains or reports of headaches or belly aches that have popped up. Now, these can also be medical problems for sure, or emotions manifesting physically in their body. And it's important to check out and know the difference. Now, there's also been an avoidance of rejection of activities, where kids don't want to do things the way that they used to, even if the activity is accessible to them. Or we're seeing increased clinginess, separation issues, right? Kids co-sleeping with parents more often. It's important to help parents understand that grief and loss and change can look different on everyone. So we're seeing all sorts of emotions: anger, exhaustion, boredom, right? Denial, frustration. And the more we can contextualize these responses for parents, the more we help them build empathy and patience. So one thing that's especially common is sleep disruptions. It's a refusal to go to sleep, sometimes nightmares. Ashley and I wrote an ebook called Tools for Family Life in Quarantine. And in that book, there are tons of mindfulness and emotional regulation tools that parents can use for their kids. And what we're seeing is that parents are really using the sleep activities much, much more.
Yeah, parents and kids are responding to these changes in so many different ways. We had a therapist last month who had a parent reaching out to her trying to make sense of her son's emotional response to the quarantine. He had been more clingy and had had anger outbursts. The therapist was anxious about how to support this family, but she used our COVID-19 cheat sheet and said she felt so confident providing useful information and tools for the families and information and tools they could put in place right away. We've created these cheat sheets on COVID-19, trauma in quarantine, understanding sleep, scheduling at home in quarantine to assist our therapist in feeling confident in any parent conversation.
Mm-hmm. Also on the December 11th training, we're also going to teach you one of our most popular interventions, which is called the Power Up Circle. It's a very powerful resourcing activity that reminds children of their own internal resources by infusing their favorite stuffed animals and toys with special powers that they draw upon. And at the training, we'll have time to give you the full explanation.
And you'll meet this gal, Fuzzy Pinky. Again, if you've been in our trainings, you might have met her. She has a special mask, which we're going to tell you all about how to make.
So it's time for us to go. We cannot wait to see you next Friday. That's 10 a.m. California time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? So if you're on the West Coast, 10 a.m., East Coast, 1 p.m. Anybody else, please look it up on Google.
Yes. And don't forget to look where your feet are today and come up with those animal breaths. We also have some fun exercises that are going to be a surprise on December 11th. Guys, jump on. Come next Friday. We're going to drop the link in the chat right now. We love this community. We absolutely cannot wait to see you there.
It's been great to see you all again. And be sure to watch the Monday mini training this week if you want more before December 11th.